What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
What's up, everybody? How are we doing on this lovely Sunday? I hope everybody's weekend's been great. I hope everybody's start to the new year has been great. But today is mostly about the previous year. We're here to discuss everything 2023. We do this at the beginning of every new year, and we've been doing this for several years now. And I think it's, it's fun to, and necessary, to appreciate, what we've been given. Do a look back, because, sometimes when you look back, you find new things also, especially when you take into consideration what's come since. Chapters at the beginning of the year, how do they compare to chapters towards the end of the year? Are the new chapters that are coming out now, do they have any sort of relevance to chapters that, came towards the middle of the year? I think the 2023, to begin with, was one of the best years in One Piece history. And that spans all forms of media. Because not only did we get a slew of bangers in 2023 with Oda's stepping away from Egghead and giving us what's going on in the world. We had the live action. We had a balloon at the Macy's Day Parade for the first time. I feel like there were other milestones. If you guys remember some of the bigger ones, also throw them in the chat. But this year, I just feel like it was just One Piece on top. Gear 5 in the anime? Come on. Oh. You had Cross Guild in the anime? The anime was pretty peak this year too. I don't know, there's so much to be thankful for. We had 2 month-long breaks. That was tough. There are some chapters that, were misses. We'll get into those. But I think that the good outweighed the overall. And I mean, personally, it was an interesting and fun and challenging year for myself as well. And I don't know, I just think I'll always remember this year. So, we'll get everything just like we've done in the past years. We'll go chapter by chapter, and we'll just kind of talk about the highlights of everything as we're, in theory, building a tier list where the chapters fall. Now, I know that other YouTubers and everything have probably done this, and they probably did it at the end of 2023 or and then the first week of January, and maybe we're a little bit late to the party here. But since we're official, if I couldn't find a tier list that didn't include 1103, and since so many people were probably consider 1103 to be part of the year, we're not going to consider 1103. That's going to be part of next year. So, but, I don't know. I always have fun with these streams. Catching up with the stream, the chat here. Shout out to Dizza, Conrad, Terrible TJ, Kip/Seaway, Miles, Chad Ocho, Shamari, Sean McDonough. Man. Shane said that I was the best moment. Oh man, I appreciate that. You guys are the best moment. Getting to hang out and do this. Talking One Piece. Chad Ocho said, full agree, 2023 was goated for One Piece. Kev Dog's in here. Never too late to reflect on the greatness. Yeah, so shout out to 2023. Move over to this here. So we've got this tier list. I'll go ahead and drop this one into the chat so everybody knows which one I'm using. And let's get into some, some fun here. So I made notes on every chapter. So this year started with 1071. So that's Kuma flying through the sky, landing at Marijoa. Which was of course paralleled with the first chapter of 2024, him flying in the air and landing at Egghead. Math piece, Oda definitely did that on purpose. We also had Zoro's nap. Garp saying that he was going to head to Hachinosu, which led to a slew of Garp and sword hype. And Kid said he was going to Elbaf, when people laughed at me when I said that he would be going there, including my guy King of Lightning. We got some good memes out of that. So, I'm going to say that for now, well, also, just like we did last year, we're going to need a row above. This one is going to be SS. There's only going to be 5 chapters that can go into this. We'll have S, A, B, C, D. And as always, a D is like a curved B because everything we're getting is still top tier anyway. So don't get mad when I put things in D. Still means it's good. Kip said, "Is the card game fun? I've been interested, but I've not played or bought any cards yet." So I got into getting some of the cards this year. I've got a little bit of a collection, but I have yet to actually play the game. I just kind of have it for the designs. Some of it's cool. I'd like to play it at some point, but you need people to play with, All right. So for the time being, I'm going to say that 1071 was an A. And, some of that is going to be, it's kind of, my own hype around it. There were a couple of, Channel W's with that chapter that came with that chapter. So even though realistically it's probably like a B chapter, it gets an A just because of the Garp hype and the memes I was able to make about Kid. Mark, what's up, man? 1072. That's the chapter that started with the clone narration and ended with learning that Stussy is a clone of Bakin, right? You had Bonnie versus Vegapunk. It was the very first Distorted Future. It had one of the best panels of the year. Bonnie in front of the memory bubble. I don't think anybody's going to argue that that is one of the best panels and something extraordinarily iconic for this final saga to begin with, and maybe the series as a whole. I can't wait to see how that gets animated, and I really hope that they hit it with the reverence that it has in my mind. Yeah, Kev, it was the birth of Clone Piece. Exactly. Just learning that they had that Seraphims existed in the first place, that was really the birth of Clone Piece, but I think it hit a fever pitch here where it was like, okay, this was the birth of Bonnie might be a clone, and it was definitely like Oda caught me with the fake out there, for sure. By putting the narration at the beginning of the chapter and then cutting right to Bonnie, it creates a natural connection, like these things must be connected. And that's storytelling 101. Oda subverted that. Good for him. Let's see. We got Zoro versus Kaku in this chapter, and Stussy used her Devil Fruit to take out Kaku. We also got the 21 grams of the soul flashback. So I'm kind of inclined to put this, because of the iconic imagery, as our first S. And depending on how many end up in S, this could be top of A. But I feel pretty comfortable putting it at S for now. A lot happened in that chapter. That one was pretty solid. And if anybody, disagrees or anything like that, by all means, drop it in the chat. I don't think it was confirmed as a Devil Fruit in Jolt, but it has to be because of the wings. Brandon King said 1086, Garling, Seraphim, Gorosei chapter, Defo S. We're gonna get to all of that. Yo, Brandon. Do love that. Do love that. I do love another chapter more than that, though. 1073. All right, so this is Stussy versus Lucci, Zoro versus S-Hawk, Marco. The Marco stuff with Bakin. We got the Weevil versus Green Bull flashback. The question of are Marco and Stussy going to head to Impel Down to get a Weevil, or are they coming to Egghead for something, since they were talking about Vegapunk as well? Hope we do get an update on this. And considering that this was the third chapter of the year, could we get an update on the third chapter of this year? This was Jay's name reveal. Learning that he was on the way. That was kind of wild. And since Oda did the whole, Kuma on the way to Egghead, on the way to Marijoa at the beginning of 2023, and then landing at Marijoa, and then on the way to Egghead, landing at Egghead at the top of 2024, will we get an inversion of that where the moment that we found out that Jay was on the way to Egghead in 1073, will the third chapter of the year, meaning 2 chapters from now, be when we take out Saturn? If Oda wants to mirror the years, I could see it. I'm going to put this in A. And I'm going to put it above 1071. I don't think that it's S. I mean, it was crazy to get Jay's name reveal. The Marcos stuff was cool. But I don't really feel like there was anything earth-shattering. Octillery Knight said the Marcos stuff with Bakim was fire to them. Yeah, I mean, I love it too. Look, I'm a huge Marcos stan, so like I love seeing my boy. It's just set up. I want the payoff. Where are they going? What are they going to do? Like that's gonna be the S tier stuff. Uh, 1074. This is the Mark III's attack. Bonnie is knocked out of the memory. Kuma starts climbing the red line, and Vivi is on the way. .1074 is S because of my own bias of Vivi coming back into the story. The rest of the chapter is pretty B, you know, but that last page is curving it hard. Like I'm because of learning that Vivi was with Morgans and that she's probably on the way to Egghead. Like I want to put that. I would put that panel in SS, but I can't put the chapter in SS. Email said as expected. As expected. I mean, yeah. 1075. Let's see. That's when we got the shadowy Saturn. The shadowy figure attacking all the comms and everything, and everybody thought it was Saturn. You know, went around, rocked the YouTube world. So many theories coming about. Saturn's already there. This was the crew splitting up. Pythagoras died. York turned to stone, and it ended with Lucci and Kaku suggesting a team up. This is going to be the first B for me. The shadowy Saturn fake out never really panned out to much, so in hindsight, not great. Pythagoras dying, okay, cool. I didn't even know you, dude. Like one of the least interesting. Probably the least interesting of the Vegapunks, so yeah. And then the Lucci and Kaku team up was not something that I was necessarily fond of to begin with. It just, like, Impel Down is this is my second favorite arc in the entire series. It didn't feel like Impel Down. It felt like fan service. And then it didn't amount to much because they later, turned back around. So it's like, all right, what are we doing here? Email said, I think it was S-Shark, but we never got a confirmation on the silhouette. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see in the anime. I think the anime will have to be a little more clear. It makes sense if it's S-Shark. 1076. Okay, so this was Lucci, Kaku, Luffy, Zoro versus S-Bear, and Vegapunk, we found out was kidnapped with CP8. And then we had Shanks on Elbaf and the Dory and Brogy reveal. So the Shanks on Elbaf stuff, that's S. The rest of the chapter, pretty B, close to C, like low B. So that's gonna put 1076 in A for me. But that last panel is higher. Like the Dory Brogy reveal was so hype. And I really love that scene. But I just know there's so much heat in this year that I cannot, I can't, we may be able to revisit that later, but I gotta put it there for now. Octillery said we learned S-Hawk's Devil Fruit too. Yeah, that was cool. That was cool that it was Mr. 1. It's probably one of Parvision's favorites of the year. We found out the Mihawk actually was a sword. Uh, 1077. Centaur tries to evacuate. We had the Minority Hunter Zoro realizing that the Seraphim are like King. Sanji saves Nami from S-Shark. Usopp, Frankie, Lilith turn to stone. And then, what you say, Shaka dies. R.I.P. Shaka. Chapters, other than Shaka dying, chapters pretty mid, especially when you consider that when you learn that nothing really happened, there were no stakes to Usopp and Frankie getting turned to stone because of what comes later. This was a chapter that, when it came out, was like, oh wow, like we've upped the stakes. And then Oda kind of dropped the ball. I'm gonna put this in C, which I feel will probably bat some eyes, but I'm also mad that Oda killed Shaka because I really like Shaka, so so yeah, 1077's in C. But I do love the meme that I made for that. That was one of my favorite memes of the year. 1078, we had a lot of setup that never paid off. We did get some Sanji gas against S-Shark, so that was when he got punched and did the whole Superman thing. Like, I don't feel that. We had the narrator setting up the incident, and then the reveal that York was the traitor. I'm gonna put this also in C, but I'm gonna put it above the Shaka. So I'm looking at things from the lens of hindsight now. And it's cool that the narrator wanted to set up the incident, and prep us for going outside of Egghead for a little bit. But I feel like 1078 is a chapter that'll get better once the arc is over and we understand the incident, because I think we can come back to this chapter and then reread it and see like, oh, okay. But as it stands right now, it felt like, it's like manga filler for right now with all the setup. So and the York reveal is cool, but it's not as good as like the CP9 reveal. I want to see what this chapter was again. None of this setup pays off yet. Like, this part was cool, and it's nice to see the narrator, but... yeah. I'm gonna stick with where it was for now. Alright. So, 1079. We started the chapter with the York and S-Snake setup, which was pretty boring, and should have been included in 1078. I don't think it's something that should have dragged on. It felt like Oda putting the Marco and Yamato flashbacks after we've already ended Wano. And considering that it brings down everything else that's in the chapter, because we had Divine Departure, Shanks versus Kid, Heat and Wire being just the worst characters in the series and handing the road poneglyphs over to Shanks, and then the teabag from Dory and Brogy. Like, this is peak One Piece. This is our first SS. And it may drop to S, depending on the rest of the heat for this year. But we're going to put it there for now. But I think based on other chapters that I like this year, it's going to either be top of S or bottom of SS. Heat and Wire definitely clowns, Kev. Yup. Artillery Knight said all of the Egghead stuff should have been before Egghead. I agree. And this is something that Chrissy and I were talking about yesterday. Chrissy wanted to, be here and everything, but Mars has a birthday party that he's going to. But, we were talking about things, and it's like, Oda has never really left an arc as much as he has here. And it creates this disjointed feel, and it forces him to include panels, which we'll get to later, where he's spending an entire page recapping everything to catch people back up to speed. If he just dedicated a bunch of time to just, okay, I'm not going back to Egghead, and eventually he does do that, but I think he should have done it earlier. Just focused on everything, and then just give us Egghead kind of straight through. You can move out a little bit, but it really did become disjointed, and some of the best stuff, arguably the best stuff, is the stuff outside of Egghead to begin with. But I think it hurts what's happening on Egghead by leaving so much. It's okay to have a B plot that you're going back and forth with, but we're dealing with so much. I think it's a lot. It's a lot. So I agree with that. Neil said a mangaka's cut of Egghead without the external parts, having that either before or after. I'd love an anime cut, that just kind of goes straight through. Now, I mean, there's some things timeline-wise, like it wouldn't make sense to do the Cross Guild stuff from 1058 and then do a bunch of stuff and then cut back to Cross Guild and do, the 1082 buggy stuff before going to Egghead. Maybe you could if you put it towards the end of everything, but it's I feel like that, some things are worth going back to, but I don't know. I feel like you could do all of Law and Blackbeard, all of Shanks and Kid, and then then play out Egghead instead of leaving Egghead to tell us what's going on with Law and Kid. But that's not even this year, so we don't necessarily have to talk about that. But I mean, Egghead as a whole. Egghead as a whole, you know. 1080. Yeah. So this is Galaxy Impact. Kobe's Bounty, Blackbeard Pirates Devil Fruit reveal, Sword lore. We had Grus, Kujaku and Ibari and their plan, their very effective plan. Finally seeing the Marines like
loyal,
effective. This is legitimately one of my favorite chapters of the year, and like if anything's gotta go, it's gonna be 1079 before it's 1080. I love this chapter because it's just it's sword, it's scheming. I can't wait to see this animated because I feel like if they play it right, it's going to feel like a heist movie where all of the parts are working for the Marines. Like, they're winning. It shows that Garp is an effective tactician, that Sword as a unit are effective, you know, tactically. Grus has quickly become one of my favorite characters, and I'm excited to see him animated. Hashtarad, member for 12 months, said past year has been wild, but it's all been build-up. Yeah. Nicholas Santos said, it's your agenda. Yeah, I mean, look, I love Sword, so 1080 might not be on everybody's top 5, but it's in mine. Emil said Prince Adidas Gross. The fact that they put him in the red Adidas tracksuit. Oh, he's like a top 10 character already. All right, so 1081. This is the Kuzan and Blackbeard flashback. Burn Scar, Man Marked by Flames lore. Garp versus Kuzan, Sulong Beppo, and Bye Bye to the Polar Tang. This was cool. I'm gonna say that's an S tier. It's not SS, but it's that was a great flashback. DDoS. Femlaw chapter, that was 2022. Was it? 10. Yeah, I think it was 2022. So 1082, this is R.I.P. T-Bone. In the arms of the angels, fly away. We got Cross Guild, you know.
久しぶりだな。
Sometimes you hear people talking about failing upwards. I think I'm about to do that.
Look, I love Cross Guild. This is not 1058 though. But you know, this Buggy, he wants to claim the One Piece. All of the stuff with Cross Guild was great. I really love it. What takes this chapter down a huge notch is the end, where Sabo gets the Kamabaka and starts acting like nothing happened. Like, this would be in the conversation of SS if Sabo pulled up from Lulusia, got off that boat, and was like screaming and running in, like, I need to talk to Dragon right now. But instead he's just like, hey guys, yeah, so like, you know, this island blew up. I got all these people with me, and yeah, but it's cool. It's chill. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about these people. Like, I don't need him putting on a face for everybody and not, you know, letting everybody get upset. Didn't need it. Didn't need that. So that's it lost points for the stakes. So I am, I don't know. I want to put it in an S, but I'm going to put it at top of A for now. Zayn Ali said Cross Guild weakest crew. Don't know why they're Yonko. Hey, don't slander my Cross Guild. That's my favorite Yonko. My favorite Yonko group. Yes. More than the Strats. Brandon said Sabo being so nonchalant about tragedy, he really did inherit the will of dragon. Yeah. Alright, so 1083, Sabo lays it all down. This is a Holy Knight's name drop. We had Karasu and Morley fighting at Marijoa. We had the scene with Vivi and Lucci, which led to Vivi getting captured. But probably should have like had more in that scene than just what it was. Would have been pretty cool, like, you know, even with Vivi losing the fight, like if she like tried to throw hands with Lucci for a second, like I would have appreciated that, Oda. We got the Cobra setup. Now, the problem with this chapter for me is this was not one of my favorite chapters of the year. This chapter is definitely a C for me. And Vivi being in it can't carry it. I think it was 1053. Can't remember. But Kuro Uma ruined this chapter. Because he already told us that the Revolutionary Army commanders like got into fights with Green Bull and Fujitora. We already knew that, you know, they attacked the Celestial Dragon symbol. So we were told all these things, and then Oda finally shows it, and it's like, this is what I want to see. But it came after I was told it. And you need to show me before you tell me. So this is me just this ranking is like a punishment to Oda. Like, you should have given us this sooner. I didn't need this new character that I've never met to tell me everything that you were going to put into this chapter. So that's it. Like, was it cool? Yeah, but it was nothing new, is what I'm saying. So we could have been somewhere else. We could have done something differently, or you could have shown us this in 1053. Like, as he's saying it, show it. It'd be great. Kev said he just sent me this photo that he saw that encompasses Sabo, feelings on Sabo. You know, I did see that, Kev. I did see that, and it is so... It's so savage. So, guys, here's my One Piece OC, Sabo. His name is Sabo, and he's Luffy's secret second brother. But he doesn't remember Luffy because of amnesia. He has cool fire powers like Ace, And he works with Luffy's dad, Dragon, as a revolutionary. He is super strong and has a 600 million berry bounty. He is smart, and he was Luffy's best friend when they were kids, and he is always kind to Luffy. He is actually a noble, but he dislikes nobles. He is called Flame Emperor and is the strongest revolutionary after Luffy's dad. Hope you like my OC, guys.
Someone cooked here.
So I don't agree entirely with that, though. Like, I agree, like, during Dressrosa, oh yeah, that would have been me all day. Like, why are we, you know? But the thing is, too, like, the community already knew Sabo wasn't dead, so we all knew the second brother thing was coming. But then, yeah, okay, Ace 2, man. I don't know. This year made me like Sabo a whole hell of a lot more because Oda was actually utilizing him in interesting ways. But 1083 was 1082 was not that chapter, and even 1083. Like, I don't know, but I don't know. After this year, I actually like Sabo more than I like Ace. Like, Oda turned him into the better brother for me because he's actually, like, developing him a little more. And even when I think back to, like, the ASL flashback, I'm more sympathetic to Sabo in it than I am Ace. So it's... yeah. Anyway, where are we? 1084. We had the color spread with the ladies of One Piece. Vivi was there. Tama was there. Yamato, Perona, Ulti. It was a good spread. This chapter started my Logia awakening theory due to what Karasu was doing. When we could see that Karasu's crows really could talk, I was like, okay, that's it. Logia awakening is sentient animals, like, or, you know, giving sentience to a part of yourself, splitting a part of you, but still being able to talk through that part or something like that. That's crazy. And maybe it's not awakening, maybe it's just like a Logia thing, but it really confirmed some stuff for me. So that was like, that was a cool thing. We got some Bonnie and Sabo stuff that was, I don't know, I feel like it was a little unnecessary. We got the Lily name drop. Just the name. Not the big reveal, but just Lily. This was Sai and Leo versus Charlos, turning him into the jar of greed. This is an S. This is a solid chapter. Solid. Like, this is the payoff of the Reverie that we wanted, but not the full payoff. Octillery Knight agreed. S for sure. Sai and Leo cooked. Absolutely. Absolutely. We will take Charlo slander here every day. Every day. They backed him up. Uh, 1085. It's SS. SS. Double SS. Triple S. Like, 1085. Spoilers for the end of the stream. Like, 1085 is my favorite chapter of the year. Best chapter of the year for me. Vivi's a D. Cobra dies. Gorosei fruits, even in shadows. So many theories came from this. Reassembled Joy Boy came from this chapter. Emu Poneglyph lore. Lily having the pawpaw fruit came from this chapter, with Emu saying that Lily's big mistake was scattering the poneglyphs, essentially. Chin super chatted, said, sorry I'm late, Cap. Listening since the start. Appreciate you, Chin. Brandon said 1085 had one of my funnier sound bits from you, the Borat King in a Chair bit. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Love that. I have a chair. I have a chair. I love the chapter so much that I got this. I have a chair. Yeah, I really love that. Definitely going to be doing some rearranging of the shelves to try and get that in there. Probably going to eliminate the Wano shelf. I think I'm going to take a video of how it is, and then I'll probably start selling some of the figures from it. I'll keep a few, and make maybe a smaller Wano shelf, but I don't need a whole thing dedicated to Onigashima. Let's see. So anyway, we had Wapple in this. President Hamburger had a cameo. Big Berg came back. That's an instant SS right there. Abraham Lincoln. Vivi escaped. We had Sabo versus the Gorosei. Jabra and Khalifa made their reappearance. How could this not be SS? This is cemented. Even if 1080 and 1079 were drop or something like that, 1085 is chapter of the year. All right. 1086. This is the one that Brandon was hyping up. Mother Flame. Emu saying that he attacked Lucia because it was close. We got the names of the Gorosei 21 years after we were introduced to the Gorosei. Emu saying that they desire Vivi. We saw Seraphim Croc. We got the Nerona lore. We had Garling reveal and the end of Mio's Guard. So this is, it's not SS for me, but it is S. Oh yeah, what's Lulusia? I don't know what that is. Anybody know what Lulusia is?
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction. We made it up. We made this one up. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication. It never happened. It never happened. This one was invented by a writer.
1087. Not playing the whole thing. 1087, Battleship Bags. We had a little bit of gross hype here. This was Garp getting stabbed by Shiryu. We got Garp's cross-guild bounty. Some more Garp versus Kuzan. And Pizarro reaching out. So this is fun. I'm gonna say that this one is top of A. Now 1088. This is when we got the One Piece live action color spread, which was my favorite color spread of the year. We got the Old Man Lesson flashback, Garp speed blitzing and punching Pizarro, Honesty Impact, and Gruss saving everybody with his clay webs. One of my favorite chapters of the year. I'm inclined to go SS with it, but for the time being, I'm going to put it at the top of S. No, you know what? I kind of like this chapter more than I liked the Shanks and Kid chapter. Is this SS? We haven't gotten to the Kuma flashback yet. This is tough. All right, there's definitely going to be some rearranging. I'm going to put it at SS for now. But there's definitely going to be some rearranging. Let's get these likes up, guys. If you're feeling the vibe, hit those likes. So I think the algorithm is not being good to me with the changes, so we gotta get these likes up. And if you hit that like button, thank you. 1089. All right, so this is we got the decks of the world, people reacting to Lucia, people reacting to Garp, getting defeated, captured, etc. Saw people like Iceberg, which was great. Went back to Fuchsia Village for a minute. We got the new Vice Admirals. Oda spent an entire page recapping us on where everybody is on Egghead, and then skipped over everything in Egghead and gave us the Straw Hats have already beat York and the Seraphim. This is unquestionably the worst chapter of the year. and one of my least favorite chapters in One Piece of all time. And I was vocal about it when it came out, about how much I didn't like that. And Oda has still yet to really explain what happened there. And I thought maybe when we got out of the flashback, it seemed like that's what he was like going to go and set up. Maybe give us a little bit more, but it's just, he had everything. He set up all these stakes. S-Hawk is, you know, on the run. Zoro's after him. Brook had just left his body to try and, you know, see if he could help that way. Sanji was fighting S-Shark. It looked like Atlas, Robin, and Chopper were going to be in danger. Frankie, Usopp, and Lilith were turned to stone. Like, it was, everything was like, oh man, what's going on? And then Oda was just like, nah, it's all good. They got past all that stuff. I don't need to show you that. So I understand you're trying to end, you know, the story and like speed things up in the final saga, but for me, that's not the way to do it. For me, that is just not the way to do it. So that is, goes in the bottom tier. 1090. All right, so this is Luffy finally communicating with the Gorosei for the first time in the series on the snail, yelling at them, "I'm Monkey D. Luffy," etc., etc. Kizaru kind of backtalks Saturn a little bit, setting up, you know, if he's going to turn, set up is here in this chapter. You know, saying that he didn't want to attack Saturn, etc. Shout out to Emil, member for 32 months. Said, I hope they cover the skipped content as filler. That'd be cool. I think you could legitimately get like 4 or 5 episodes out of all of that. That's a great way to like make up lost time from Oda taking 2 month-long breaks in a year. Like you could catch up one of those months. Brandon said, it's one of the biggest detriments of the time skip for me, Randy. Oda feels so pressured to keep the pace going quickly. He can't sit and marinate on moments that need it. Artillery Knight said, -1 million chapter for sure. Skipping the fights was not the move. Yeah. Then, what else? Kizaru arrives on, and he fights Sentomaru. And then this was, Luffy scared, saying someone strong is coming. Which was a, you know, really great out for the chapter, but then amounted to nothing in the next chapter because, like, he seems so scared that Kizaru was coming, which was a fun thing to play, like the PTSD of the archipelago. And then Oda decides, no, that's not what I'm going to do. And in the next chapter, he's just like, I'm 100 times stronger than I was back then. Like, I'll beat you. So 1090 is kind of low tier also. Yeah, I'll put it here. I mean, 1080, it's not, it could be C. Like, I almost want to give 1089 its own, like, its own thing. Like, this is just the 1089 tier. Let's see. 1091 was Kizaru versus Sentomaru. We got the Sentomaru flashback. Lucci takes out Stussy. Sanji Galaxy Brains Kaku. We got Zoro versus Lucci. And the start of Luffy versus Kizaru. He kicks Kizaru on the anniversary of the first fight with Kizaru at the archipelago. 1091, I'll put that in B. It's a better chapter than the other two, but it's still not really doing it for me. The 100 times stronger line was cold. It's the build up from 1090 though, with him like sweating that someone strong is coming, and then not seeing that side of Luffy in the next chapter amounts to nothing. How am I so sure that he meant Kizaru, not Saturn? I'm not. But the fact that Kizaru was actually on the move, it implies a little bit for me. 1092. Kuma versus Sakazuki. This was awesome. We got start of Kizaru versus Luffy, and it ends with Gear 5 Luffy grabbing Kizaru. This is A tier. Yeah. The Kuma Akainu stuff alone, sensational. Artillery Knight Spitting said if Luffy was talking about Saturn, he would have said something when Saturn got summoned. Yeah, that's how I feel too. 1093, entire chapter of Gear 5 Luffy versus Kizaru. Atlas has her Tama moment where she controls all of the Mark IIIs to turn against the Marines. And Sentomaru saves Bonnie. This one's top of B for me. The fight was cool. The Atlas moment, Sentomaru saving Bonnie, 1094. This is Bonnie using near-death experience. So one of the Marines had the otter fruit. We saw Bluegrass's ride fruit. Sanji saves Bonnie, which is better than Sentomaru saving Bonnie. Luffy versus Kizaru was dope. Yeah, I liked it. It's the rest of the chapter. Yeah. Let's see. This was the summoning circle, St. J's fruit, or his power, or his true body being an Ushioni, and Bonnie stabbing Saturn. This is most definitely like an S. Like, just for what that chapter represented, what it gave us, what it gave the community in terms of theories and everything, and like, it's so wild. It's still wild. 1095, Frankie saves Luffy from Saturn. We got the Buccaneer drop. The Kuma flashback starts. Clap gets clapped. Young Garling, and then it ends with young Ivankov. This is an easy S. One of the best chapters of the year, and really had my mind racing at the end of it when I saw Ivankov, which inspired one of my favorite videos of the year, whether, it ended up being the case or not. Trying to figure out everybody that could be on God Valley. Like, that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun making that video. Just the ideas of people like Crocodile and Moria and Hiraluk and Seth, and like going through the ages. Like I felt so inspired after that chapter. So I do really love that one. That one, it's in the contention for one of the best chapters of the year for sure. Uh, 1096, God Valley. Rocks. The fruits. Ginny sending her message out. Glorioso reveal. Are you important, mister? Hands of liberation. This is SS. It's SS. Anton said that it's the best chapter of the year, in their opinion. Best chapter is still 1085 for me. And there's still another chapter that I think is better than 1096. But it is top 5. $10.97. This is Pastor Kuma. Nothing happened. Every day. This man is nothing happening every day. It's Ginny and Kuma. They join the revolutionaries. Ginny gets kidnapped. This is S. $10.98. This was the doodle chapter, the one where Oda couldn't finish it. It's where Ginny died. R.I.P. in the arms of the angels. Fly away, fly away. The Sapphire Scales, raising Bonnie, and the setup for the 10th birthday. It's a S. But I think it's towards the back of it all. I love it. It's heartbreaking. But it was a lot of setup. $10.99. Bonnie uses her power for the first time. And when I was going back through this chapter, in the official, the guy's going through the book and he's like, age fruit, is this it? He doesn't say this is it. He says, is this it? Implying that Bonnie's fruit actually could have a different name. We got the Connie set up, Kuma going around to all of the places that he ends up sending the Straw Hats, Kuma San Diego, Dragon sends him to Vegapunk. Just because I feel like I can't put everything in S, even though I want to, I'm going to put this at top of A. It's a great chapter, but it's still just set up. Because it's like 1100 I also want to put in S. This is Kizaru showing up to Egghead, Saturn giving his proposition, Kuma's tears that he's grateful, like, hey, you got to die in order to save Bonnie, and he cries, great, as long as she, survives. Like, that's, that hits harder for me than even Ginny dying. Like, I think that 1098 is something that'll really hit better in the anime than it did in the manga for me. But 1100 is great. We got Bonnie at Egghead, the Cure. She goes back to Sorbet. We meet Alpha. We get the Warlord news. We see Ace and Crocodile. We get the confirmation that Kuma is the Warlord that took the slot that Ace was going to get. We see Kuma's ship and his what his flag is. Like, that was really great. That was good stuff. Really, really solid stuff there. He said Saturn pulled out a juicer and said, I'm doing science too. Woo! You know it. Octillery said Kuma's fat flag broke my heart. It definitely hit me too.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Let's see. 1101. Kuma watches Luffy. The setup for any sort of dawn axe or giant battle axe, stepping on a spider if it happens. Kuma's letters. Alpha is trash. I got one of the most visceral reactions that I got all year from this chapter with Alpha ripping up those letters. Bonnie's cured. She sets out. She hits Alpha. This is one of the greatest chapters of the year. I'm going to put that at the top of S. In hindsight, as much as I love that Vivi returned, I'll move 1074 to the top of A. Let's see. And then 1102. Decks of the World, Luffy's Bounty. Kuma's the main character. You see his POV, Thriller Bark, Archipelago. The smile in the restaurant, one of my favorite panels of the year. Reframing of the split. You're the one who's going to save the world. Kuma running. The next time you see Bonnie, wish her a happy 10th birthday. This is the second best chapter of the year. In contention for best chapter of the year. One of the most iconic moments of all time One Piece, like him running. Yeah. Kev said, you're the one who's going to save the world. Absolutely goated. Yeah. Yeah, it's not just a letter, Chin. But at least she got to read them in some sense. Alright, so I want to reorganize things a little bit here. Because I have 6 in SS. So one of these chapters has to go into S, and then I want to take one of the S's and put them in A, so that I don't have two lines. Top chapter of the year, 1085. Just is. Vivi's a D. Sabo versus the Gorsei. Cobra dying. Vivi escapes Marijoa. It's kicked off so many theories. I can't look at it at anything other than the best chapter of the year for me. 1102. Second best chapter of the year. Kuma running. Everything we just talked about. It is so iconic. 1080. Sword agenda in full effect. Seeing the Marines be tactically capable. It just worked for me. It was amazing. 1096, fourth chapter of the year. God Valley, Are You Important, Mr. Rocks Pirates? Amazing. Then here's where it gets iffy. Got 1088, which is Honesty Impact, the live action color spread, the Old Man Lesson flashback. I think I'll stick with that. And I think the Shanks chapter, for as great as it is, and even though it really is, it's still an SS moment, and it was amazing and what it did for the community. It's probably top of S. '23 top 5? No, it is 6. I mean, I really want to leave it as top 6 because there really were 6 SS chapters this year. But I don't know. But it's like I really don't like when it does that and it creates, 2 rows. Like it doesn't look right. Oh, well. Stretch the page out, it fixes it. You know what we could do, actually? S plus SS. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Add a row above. This is going to solve everything. S plus.
You loyal.
Dawn Knight 1993, member for 12 months, said 2023 was just a great year for One Piece. From manga to anime to another anime. Yes. To live action, the One Piece is real. Yeah. Phone Killer said, now I know Randy ain't reading my posts. He said, make SSS tier. Can't do SSS. That's crazy. All right, so S plus. It's all of this. This is. That's S plus all day. Reorganizing things here. Wait. How did B go up above A? What happened there? Okay, there we go. That was weird. It went SBA. I'm just doing some cleanup here, like organizing things. All right. This feels right. This feels right. I changed some things. But this feels right. So here's the SS tier. 1085, 1102, 1080, 1096, 1088. Locked. S plus, giving our flowers to 1079, Shanks versus Kid. And the greatness of all of these Kuma flashback chapters. 1101, 1095, 1097, 1100. S tier. 1072 with the iconic imagery of the memory bubble. 1098, Ginny dies. 1086, Miosgard dies. 1094, Saturn reveal. 1084, that's Emu and Cobra in the throne room before he dies. 1081, Garp vs. Kuzan, Blackbeard has beat Law. A tier. Vivi returns, 1074. 1099. 1087. 1082. Cross Guild, 1073. Marco and Bakin, 1092. Kainu and Kuma. B tier. Which is really like B plus tier, or maybe even A minus. 1071, because we got a lot of W's with that chapter. Garp's heading to Hachinosu, Kid's heading to Elbaf. 1076, we got everything in that chapter was kind of mid except for the end where Shanks and Dory and Brogy are revealed, which was amazing and one of the best panels of the year. 1093, awesome fight with Luffy and Kizaru. 1075, this is definitely where we're getting into like actually B. Like if this would be like those three would be like A minus, and then this would be B for sure. Which is 1075, 1091. C tier, 1078, 1077, 1083 for sure, 1090 for sure. And then the 1089 tier. "2023, in a nutshell, you've been good to us. We had to create 3 rows of S because of how good the chapters were in 2023. There needed to be 3 S's. We needed S, S plus, SS. And honestly, the A tier might as well be S minus. Then we'll create A tier. I'm literally creating another row, actually. Hold on a second, guys. So there's 4 tiers of S now. 4 tiers of S. S minus, S, S plus, and SS. That's how good 2023 was. So now 1074, 1099, 1087, 1082, 1073, and 1092 are S minus. A is 1071, 1076, 1093. B is 1075, 1091. Everything else stays the same. Captain Buggy is the real GOAT, Kip. He is going to find the One Piece first. Octillery said, we love to see the 1089 tier. Just gotta shout that out. Nope, this wasn't it, Oda. This one wasn't it. But these, that was it. That's great. This is great too. That's great. These are solid. Solid. I don't know. That wasn't it. Nope. But this? These? These? Emil said, what are the top characters of the year? Top 5 MVPs? Cobra is definitely an MVP. Wapple is an MVP because he saved our queen. Shanks is an MVP. Kuma is most definitely an MVP. Buggy had an MVP moment. Ginny was an MVP. Brandon said this year was too peak. We needed 4 S tiers. Garp, Kobe, Russ, they were all MVPs too. Beppo got that save. He was an MVP. Yeah. I gotta give him his flowers. He did something. He did something. Kev said Kuma's the MVP, most valuable Papa. Beppo's most improved. And I mean, Saturn's villain of the year for sure. Absolutely villain of the year. How does everybody feel about my list? Are there any hard disagrees? I want to know what everybody else's favorite chapter of the year was. Terrible TJ super chatted, said, "What are the 5 worst characters of 2023?" I mean, worst. What's the definition of worst? Because Saturn's the best villain, but he's also the worst character because he's done the worst things. Are we talking about that, or are we talking about characters that just didn't hit? Because York doesn't hit for me. Atlas is hit or miss. Low-key Dragon is one of the worst characters of 2023 for just not doing anything. And Alpha. The Alpha, I don't know. Alpha might be worse. I almost want to put them above Saturn as worst character of the year. But it's definitely between those two. Had to think about that. Audie Chin said can't see any disagrees, but gotta go. Appreciate you stopping by. Probably not going to stream for too much longer. Terrible TJ said solid list, but 1082 could be higher for me. That's fair. I mean, I do love everything in 1082. I was really just trying to punish it for that end scene. But everything else is really great, and it's a great moment for Buggy. There, I moved it up. It's S tier now. And I moved 1081 into S minus. Emil said Bluegrass for one of the worst characters of the year. I mean, I was inclined to say that, but I mean, I don't really know much about her to... I think that's unfair. She only had like one panel, so I don't know, I need more. Artillery Knight said 1102 was their favorite chapter. Kuma run almost made me cry. Same with the 10th birthday line. Yeah, such a good chapter. Miles said 1088. Was a big W for them. Love 1088. It was great to see Kobe like do something. Oh, Bakori. Bakori is one of the worst characters of the year for sure. Shout out to Brandon for that. Yeah, Bakori is definitely there. Oh, and I do agree with Lucci. I'm still not a big Lucci fan. Brandon said, Kuma's the dad who stepped up, Dragon's the dad who stepped down. Neil said that this year's Basura Awards nominees are Jay Garcia Saturn, Alpha, Bluegrass, Dragon, and Vasco Shot. Now we gotta put Bakori in there, so I'm gonna take Bluegrass out and put Bakori in there. And Vasco didn't do enough for him to be one of the worst characters of the year. Pythagoras is up there for one of the worst of the year for sure. Because all they did was just exist to die. But I'd actually replace Vasco with York. Because York's kind of annoying. So I think the top 5 would be Saturn, Alpha, Corey, Dragon, and York. And if I was going to get rid of Dragon, I would replace him with Lucci. And then what you have is just all villains, you know? Because the Dragon is really slandery, so maybe just put him as Lucci. I mean, I'm disappointed. I mean, put Dragon's at the top of like most disappointing characters, not worst. Let's have my boy Pythagoras tried his best. He just existed. He was just there. But now I'm just imagining like a little trash can statue. It's like, and the Basura goes to Alpha. Or Saturn. It's a tie. Doesn't matter who the other ones are, because it's just between Alpha and Saturn anyway. Oh, Heat and Wire. Oh, yo, Heat and Wire. Oh, and the Basura goes to Heat and Wire. They did the most egregious thing in One Piece. They gave up a man's dreams. They sold their boy's dream out. They are on that list for sure. Yes. Yes. I can't believe I forgot about them. Like, they are two of the worst characters of the year. Yes. Good God. We've seen characters do some heinous stuff, but that... Wow. That's like the worst thing you can do in One Piece. We have 4 S classes. The bare minimum is 4 Basura tiers. Yeah. Kev said, unironically, the Basura Award would be funny as hell, like the Razzies of One Piece. Yeah. If we had it in tiers, like, Eaton Wire would win for worst pirates. Worst villain would be Saturn. Worst government agent, Alpha. Worst Seraphim, York. So there's your 4 tiers right there. And the golden chocolate goes to... Well, that's worst drip. Like, if we've got the Razzies for drip, that's what the award would be, a golden chocolate. And the golden chocolate goes to... It's a tie! Jinbei and Sanji! Kev said Randy in the suit. And the nominees for biggest bum are... Oh, Heat and Wire. I mean, they're taking biggest bum. That was bum activity for sure. But I just love how, like, it just wasn't, you know, they're like, here, take the road poneglyphs, just spare us. Shanks is like, okay. Dorian Brogy, do your thing. Hakoko Sovereignty, like, the teabag finisher. Like, it's... I can't. The Sanji hoodie is really weird, but the weirdest thing is actually, like, Jinbei's outfit. Like, in black and white, Sanji would have gotten the golden chocolate. And then when I see everything in color, it's like... Jinbei might have it. He might have it. It might be worst drip in the entire series. Like, the colors are so off. What happened? The machine malfunctioned when he stepped in. Jacob said Dorian Brogy might as well have emoted after Hakoko Sovereignty. Yeah, they just needed to, like, stand over the bodies and just hit the Rick Astley real quick. Never gonna give you up. Yeah. Did I watch the latest episode of One Piece? Last night's? No, I have not watched last night's yet. Was it good? Did people like last night's? How does it stack up to episode 1089? Not to be confused with chapter 1089, worst chapter of the year. Episode 1089, phenomenal episode of One Piece. Heat and Wire did give Kid up. They sold their man out. You don't do that. Another great episode? Cool. It was okay. They did be dragging some things out per usual. Miles said it was tasty. Was okay. Alright, so mid to good, I guess. I mean, the stuff that's being covered there is all set up. It's not the best. I mean, plus that should be the episode that gives weird fan service for a 12-year-old. So wasn't too primed to be like, yeah, let's watch this episode. I think I can wait on that one. Oh, introducing Doll. Interesting. Wait, did we see Gruss in this episode? Oh, Bari too? But do we see Gruss? Because then I'm in. Gruss is in the Is he in the red Adidas tracksuit? I need to hear his voice. Okay. Full Adidas Gruss. Yeah, boy. Okay. Alright, I'm in. I said I love that you fanboy over Gruss. I've been a day one Gruss fan. Like, I remember when he first appeared, I was like, yo, is that the dude from the Capone cover story? And everybody was like, how do you remember that? And I was like, I've remembered drippy characters. What are you talking about? Like, everybody was ready to like you know, send me chats and be like, oh, this guy was, you know, there. I'm like, no. I know where he's from. I remember him. We see and hear him. Awesome. If you go in understanding how the anime operates, you won't be disappointed. It was produced well. The Bonnie stuff is cringe as expected. Yeah, that is what I'm expecting. I really only care about this sword scene now. And I want to see how Hibari is done as well. Marinko said, wait, Gruss was in a backstory years ago? Yeah, he was introduced in the Capone cover story. He was at Dressrosa with Kujaku and his clay clones, his golems, and they were searching for Capone. So if you go back to the it's like when Chiffon is getting a haircut, and then like Gruss comes into the salon, and it's weird too because Oda retroactively changed the color scheme for Gruss, because initially he had brown hair and just a basic marine uniform. Like, he did not have the Adidas tracks. He still had the coat, and he still had the chain and the long hat and the shaggy hair, but the hair in the official color was brown. And now he's got, like, you know, Zoro colored hair. Luffy's "this is the form I take when I'm free" scene is really done well. Okay. Fujaka's also in the episode, but she doesn't talk or do anything, just a background character. Okay. Yeah. I don't, maybe we'll watch that one live. I'm inclined to just watch the Gruss scene. Actually, I'm gonna do that now. I'm not gonna watch this whole episode. But I am gonna... I do want to see this one scene at least. But that's our list. I'm going to save that. And I'll drop it in the Discord as well. Give me a second to pull this up. Since I'm only watching one scene, I'm not going to do the whole timer thing and everything. I am gonna watch the opening though. I gotta. When this first, when they first showed this, they didn't have the subs for the opening. Hmm. Hmm. Oh man. Chills. I love this. Still a top 5 opening. Oh, here we go. All right. So, picking up here. It's kind of crazy that they really made it look like the Biscuits room, though. Alright, G14 branch. I like Tashiki's look. Something different. She changed her shirt. Smoker's still missing. Still MIA. Mocha's so huge, like, it's crazy. I do hope these kids get back to normal, though. Caesar really turned these kids into buccaneers. Oh, if we go into a Punk Hazard flashback, I'm skipping this. Nope. There's Doll. Can you do something about the annoying Helmeppo? I like this. I really do like this. Look at that drip! Look at that! The drip. He's a drip lord. He's gruff. Why are they hiding Gruss's eyes? Like, we already know what his eyes look like. See, and then what? What is he? All right, so that's the part everybody wanted me to see there. Lilith's voice actress is good. I like that. Yeah, Gross's voice actor's cool. Not what I expected, but I'm on board. Let's see. Kip said, hot take, incoming. I like Fishman Island a little better than Punk Hazard. I've got Fishman Island above Punk Hazard. Yeah. Punk Hazard and Sierra Village are my 2 least favorite arcs. Fishman Island, it has some issues, mostly with Hody, but it's... and Sanji. But it's got a lot of redeeming stuff, and the flashback saves it. Absolutely, like... And the thing is Fishman Island, as we progress in the story, gets better and better, and Punk Hazard doesn't. All right. Hunterpedia. What's this week's Hunterpedia? Learning about Bonnie this week. Entirely unnecessary to put that into the Hunterpedia. They even had, like, a sound effect. A very inappropriate sound effect. Okay, next episode is Atlas and the Food Machine. Cool. Yeah, I really like what they did with the sword stuff and the Tashigi and doll stuff. I skipped the worst part. Yeah, I know. I don't need to see it. Miles said the antagonist aside, Fishman Island is a good arc. Yes. All right. I think we're gonna start winding the stream down here. This was fun. I was glad to get through and celebrate 2023 with you guys. Not only just here today, but generally speaking over the course of the year itself. So it's been fun. Another one in the books. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging with me, supporting. I'm looking forward to all types of new content in 2024, and I've got a bunch of ideas for things that I'd like to do, and ways to different ways to take the channel and bring more videos. goal, and we'll get some good chapters. I do fully expect us. I said this last year, but I do actually expect us to get to Elbaf this year, and I think this is the return of Vivi year. I think that's what we're getting into now with 2024, so I'm excited. Viper said, have a good one, Brody. Nothing but love. Nothing but love right back to everybody in here. Everybody that's watching this, watching the VOD for this. Stream, looking forward to more great content in 2024. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate you, man. And yeah, that's it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you are feeling the vibe. Woo!
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.